If you need to record sensor data and you just don't want to deal with an old, outdated paper chart recorder, now you can lose the chart paper and upgrade to full feature process data collection with Omega's next generation iServer 2 virtual chart recorder and web server. And in this video, we're going to be setting up the new iServer 2 for the very first time, so stick around. The iServer 2 is way more than a chart recorder. It features an intuitive built-in web server with live charting that you can access from any web browser, internal data storage so you don't have to worry about losing your data if it goes offline for any reason, modular compatibility with Omega Link smart probes in a wide array of sensor types, 2 configurable discrete I/O ports that can drive relays, alarms, or switches, a USB interface for easy local configuration and data extraction, and the Dual Thermocouple model offers fast, high-accuracy temperature readings from its 2 built-in thermocouple ports. Part 1. What's in the box? The first thing you'll notice when you take the iServer 2 out of the box, whether it's the iServer 2 Probe Basic, Deluxe, or Dual Thermocouple model, is its rugged construction. Standard and Deluxe Probe and Thermocouple models offer a large color LED display, and all models come with a DC power supply, an RJ45 Ethernet cable, a 9-volt battery, 2 I/O terminal block connectors, as well as DIN rail mounting hardware. All probe models come with an Omega Link SP003 environmental monitoring smart probe and probe mounting bracket and hardware. And the Dual Thermocouple model comes with 2 Type K thermocouples. Part 2. Sensing device setup. First, on the probe model, plug your smart probe into the M12 8-pin connector, and on the Dual Thermocouple model, plug in the 2 Type K thermocouples, making sure they're secure. Now we'll connect the DC power adapter that came with the unit to power up the iServer. And even though we have the DC power supply connected here, I'm going to install the included 9-volt battery as a backup in case we ever lose power. First, remove the 2 screws here and remove the battery cover. Plug in the 9-volt battery, replace the battery cover and screws, and now our iServer 2 has battery backup in place. Now I'll plug in the power supply, and there's our sensor readings showing up on the color LCD display. And if you purchase the basic non-display probe model, you'll need to connect it to a PC or local network to access the iServer 2's web user interface, where your sensor readings will be displayed. Don't worry, we'll cover that later on in the video. Part 3. I/O port setup. The iServer 2 features 2 configurable discrete I/O ports that can be used for a wide range of applications, like driving relays or physical alarms, or sensing contacts like door switches. It can also generate local alarms, or provide control outputs based on sensor inputs. Wire the digital I/O and relays to the iServer 2 following the diagram in the Quick Start Guide. The digital input or DI connections here accept a 5-volt TTL input, while the digital output or DO connections require an external voltage and can support up to 0.5 amps at 60 volts DC. And the relays R1 and R2 can support a load of up to 1 amp at 30 volts DC. And this is important. It's recommended that you ground the unit by connecting a wire to the chassis ground of the relay connectors. A fully configurable alarm system is available in the web UI to create events and thresholds that will trigger a notification should those scenarios be met. The system can be configured to send email notifications as well. Part 4. Connecting the iServer 2 to a PC. To take full advantage of all the excellent features of the new iServer 2, you'll need to connect it to a PC or local network to access the web user interface. There are 3 methods to choose from. Method 1. DHCP setup, recommended for display units. Connect your iServer 2 directly to a DHCP-enabled router with an internet connection using an RJ45 cable. On the display model, the assigned IP address will appear on the lower right of the device display. Now, on a PC that's on the same network as the router, open a web browser and navigate to the assigned IP address. You'll be asked to first sign in to the web UI, or if the factory default login information has not been changed, enter the username admin. Then enter the password on the label located on the back of the iServer 2 unit. Then you will be required to set your own password. Once logged in, the web user interface will display those sensor readings as different gauges. And to find the IP address on the basic non-display unit, open another browser window and log into your router and navigate to the routing table, also referred to as the DHCP client list. That's where you should find the host name, showing the model number of your iServer 2 along with its IP address. Method 2. Direct to PC setup using the RJ45 connector for display and non-display models. Connect your iServer 2 directly to your PC using an RJ45 cable. Identify the MAC address assigned to your iServer 2 by checking the label on the back of the device. Open a web browser and enter http://is2-omega, followed by the last 4 digits of the iServer 2 unit's MAC address. Method 3. Direct to PC setup using a micro USB cable. Connect your iServer 2 directly to your PC using a micro USB 2.0 cable. On your PC, open the Windows control panel and go to Network and Internet Settings and select Change Adapter Options. Then click on the Unidentified Network Connection, Remote NDS Compatible Device. And in the Ethernet status window, go to Properties and scroll to Internet Protocol 4 TCP and select that and click on the Properties button. Select Use the following IP address and enter 192.168.3, and because the iServer's IP ends in 200, you can enter any number that isn't 200, so I'll make it .50. Now if I click on Subnet Mask, it should automatically fill in 255.255.255.0. Leave the default gateway blank and then click OK. Now I'll close the rest of the windows here. Now go back to the web browser and enter the IP address of the iServer 2. And there's the login screen for the iServer 2 user interface. Part 5. Navigating the web UI. The iServer 2's intuitive web user interface allows the user to configure network settings, logging settings, events and notifications, and general system settings, and it can be accessed from any web browser. After you've navigated to the iServer 2 web server IP address, you'll be asked to first sign into the web UI, or if the factory default login information has not been changed, enter the username admin. Then enter the password on the label located on the back of the iServer 2 unit. Then you will be required to set your own password. Once logged in, the web user interface will display those sensor readings as different gauges. Configuration and information. From the iServer 2 homepage, click the gear icon located here under the System tab. Here you can configure the name of your attached probe or Omega Link device and view the current firmware, available channels, and core version number. Entering chart mode. To view the iServer 2's virtual chart, click on the chart icon here. In chart view, you can see the real-time readings for your connected probes along with their minimum and maximum readings. You can change the temperature range here. I'll change it to 200 degrees and it will automatically repopulate the primary y-axis. And you can change the duration units here from auto, seconds, minutes, hours, or days. You can also change the secondary y-axis between humidity and barometric pressure, depending on what type of probe you're using. And click on the menu icon here in the upper right of the chart to print the chart or save it as a JPEG or PNG image. You can also zoom in to a particular point in time and click the revert arrow to reset the view. Network configuration. Clicking the Network Configuration tab will open the Network Configuration window. Here you can configure your IP parameters and Ethernet interface options. For example, under Network, with the default DHCP option selected, the iServer 2 will dynamically request an IP address, a subnet mask, a gateway address, and a DNS address from the DHCP server. IP address refers to the IP address of the iServer 2 unit itself. When DHCP is enabled, this field will be dimmed. When static is enabled, the IP address can be changed. Subnet mask is a 32-bit number used to distinguish the network and host portions of the IP address. The iServer 2 default net mask is 255.255.255.0. And gateway refers to the IP address of the router, which functions as gateway to the network. This points to the router that forwards traffic to a destination address outside of the subnet where the iServer 2 resides. Logging tab. Click on the Logging tab and you can set an automatic logging interval, retrieve recorded data from a date range, and save it as a CSV file. First, I'll set a date range, then click Retrieve Data. And once it's downloaded, there's our CSV file. Events and notifications. The Events and Notifications window is where you can configure alarm thresholds, triggers, and notification parameters. From the Alarm tab, users can enable or disable the alarm notification, set the trigger event, and select the measurement device that the alarms will apply to. Available alarm triggers include battery level warning, TTL contact activation, sends a notification when a contact closure alarm has been triggered, probe disconnection, lets you know when a probe has been disconnected from the iServer 2, and out of memory sends a notification that the iServer 2's memory is full. The Relay 1 and Relay 2 tabs allow users to configure the first and second relays of the iServer 2. The initial relay states can be changed between normally open and normally closed, and the relay trigger and input devices they apply to can be selected in this window as well. Email. From the Email tab, you can create a list of recipients who will be notified via email depending on the parameters that are established. Keep in mind that the iServer 2 must be connected to the internet to support email alerts. The heartbeat interval provides normal operation updates at a configurable frequency. The alarm interval controls the frequency of alarm notifications that will be sent via email after the initial notification is sent. The Digital I/O tab configures the first and second digital inputs on the iServer 2. Both can be enabled or disabled independent of one another and can be set to be displayed on the home page or log. The System tab. If we click on the System tab, we can control a variety of functions such as factory resets, firmware updates and configuring the system time. The date, time, and time zone as it appears in the UI can be set manually. Additionally, firmware update files can be selected and uploaded here. The Profile tab is where you can update the password. In the Units tab, you can configure the displayed units of measurement. Channel settings. If we go back and click on the individual gauge display readings in the web UI, it'll bring up the channel settings window where gain and offset values can be applied, display ranges can be set, and alarm triggers can be defined. So as you can see, the iServer 2 is so much more than just another virtual chart recorder and web server. Sure, it can log and store data, but combine that with the alarms, notifications, data extraction, edge control, and you can easily see why the iServer 2 is such a game changer. If you want to know more about the iServer 2 from Omega, call or chat online with one of our engineering experts at omega.com. Thanks for watching and be sure to like and subscribe.